Hey there, hi there, ho there. Hey y'all, it's Gord, your hurtin' hippie. It is Tuesday, and today we're really talking about this peace because peace is important, and the no nukes, no nuke movement is all about peace. It's all about peace. Well, let's have some peace to our cannabis. Don't nuke my cannabis. Yes, this is an adult-oriented, let's talk real cannabis. Let's talk what is happening to our cannabis in Canada. Recent changes, recent information has come out in this drive to legalization. We're there, but as I have always said, things will change as we, the consumer, learn more and more and insist on change. And I think after you hear all this, you may insist on change. I'm not overly concerned with this issue. First, what is the issue? Let's describe the issue. The issue is that over 80% of all legal cannabis in Canada gets irradiated, is sprayed with radiation. Irradiated means radiated. I don't know the words very well, and I'm not going to sit here and worry about grammar, but they are irradiating the cannabis to ensure that they meet the guidelines of Health Canada. Do they have to? No, they don't, and that's why we need to stand up and say, please stop, there are better ways. But before we get there, because it's at the end of this article, I'm going to link this article below. I've got my laptop in front of me, so if you hear the odd bleep, bleep, bloop, bloop, that's what happens when I can't shut off everything, but I will try to mute the sound for now so that you guys don't get interrupted while I talk about it. It is Canada's newest hot topic is, do we need irradiation? And I'll read this. Health Canada imposed safety requirements that ensure the market and the related products are well regulated. To ensure that products are free of contaminants, licensed producers, LPs, boo, LPs, and product manufacturers are using irradiation methods, and there it says approximately 80% of LPs are using irradiation to sterilize their products. Is irradiation as frightening as it sounds? No, it is not. I'm not going to read every piece. We will go through it, and I expect or hope that you all will read it further yourselves, or maybe go along with me. But before we panic, let's first learn what is irradiation. Radiation is widely used in many applications, even in most people's homes in the forms of a microwave. So it's around us all the time. It's also used to sterilize medical equipment and to perform x-rays. X-rays not that great for us. Therefore, we can see that radiation is not foreign concept, nor is it new. In 1958, the U.S. government gave their official approval for radiation to be used in production of food products. Canada strictly limits the number of irradiated food products to be sold. Only a minimal amount of certain irradiated food products is allowed. Now cannabis has joined that short list. While the use of irradiation does prove to kill off any and every possible contaminant, it does more. How is it used for cannabis? Well, it's a synthetic radioactive cobalt isotope. Radiation makes sure that any microorganisms, and potential contaminants are killed off before the weed hits us. Is it safe? Is it safe? That's the rub. Therein lays the rub. Is it safe? That's what we care about. Do we care that radiation is used? Yes. But if it's safe and not hurting anything, Maybe it's needed. I was speaking to a grower, before I go on too far, that any kind of grow activity that becomes gigantic, any kind of agricultural activity that becomes too big in scale, has to rely on radiation, because if they can't use pesticides, they're going to get overrun. Now, that is the case for most of these very large growers. And I want to remind y'all, like Tweed, one of the biggest factories, used to be the Hershey plant in Smiths Falls, Ontario. Tweed's first plant, and still biggest, in Smiths Falls, Ontario, used to be the Hershey plant. Used to be a chocolate plant. Many years ago. It's an old building. Of course they've got to use radiation to get the bugs by. They're probably every once in a while having to kick a mouse out of their way. Of course, I don't know this. I'm speaking out of the corner of my mouth. But I do know that it is an old building. Anyways, is it safe? The current question many involved in the Canadian industry are asking themselves. On the one hand, the World Health Organization has judged irradiation to be safe, while on the other, there are those who do not regard irradiation as safe. But for this to say, World Health says it's safe, but others say it isn't, I don't think they answered the question. But then it goes on to talk about how is cannabis truly affected by radiation, and this is where it all makes sense. I'm not going to read it because I understand it pretty good. It does not affect the THC. It does not affect CBD or most of the cannabinoids. What it affects is the terpenes. It isn't going to hurt us health-wise. I mean, there's radiation absolutely everywhere. If we're that concerned about it, we should be up in arms about Fukushima still raising the cloud of radiation across this earth. No, I'm not concerned about that. What I'm concerned about is it breaking up our entourage effect. It hurts terpenes. It says in here, reduction of affected terpenes was between 10 and 20%, and for some components up to 38%. So these beautiful parts of the plant that are part of the smell, they are part of the taste, they are also part of the feel, the full entourage effect is being reduced. And it makes sense. The first time I talked about the legal market and bought some legal product that was shishka berry, my first statement was, this doesn't taste like shishka berry. And now it makes sense. If irradiation has taken away most of the terpenes, or at least a quarter of the terpenes, I'm not tasting that beautiful apple pie taste of shishka berry, nor am I getting the full feeling. Now, here is where the rub is. Is it an imperative part of production of cannabis in a wider scale environment? No, it is not. It is the production method that's used right now to make sure it's all safe, but already people are understanding that the consumer doesn't want it. So now I'm going on to the future of cannabis. If not irradiation, what else? A Canadian company, and I'm going to put their name up here, Flowr Corp, Flowr Corp, is answering the question. They have developed a cultivation operation that offers consumers cannabis products which provide the same safety, yet none of the irradiation. Co-founders Tom Flo and Steve Klein decided to focus on growing clean and quality cannabis without using irradiation. The cannabis product offered through their company meets the Health Canada stringency without any of the irradiation. So I say, we need to, as consumers, say, what Flowr did, you do. I want the entourage effect. I want my terpenes. I don't want my radiation. I don't want a third eye. I just want to have cannabis. But as I said, this is a short-term thing that I think is starting to dissipate as growers realize that when you go into, if you are a legal consumer, I've already gone to two. I've gone to 5 Point and I've gone to Co-op, and I've told them, I won't buy any of your product if it's irradiated. If you can identify which ones are not, if you can buy from the ones that don't, then you've got my business. Otherwise, I'm going to stay with the gray market. That's going to happen everywhere as this information gets out. So share it, let people know, let people go into these sites and say, I want something that's not irradiated. And if they say, I think all of this is, just say thank you very much and walk out. Walk out. We need to stand up for ourselves and say there are better methods. One, get rid of the big LPs. Smaller growing with lots of different small operations is a better way to grow. Mom and pop shops is a better way to grow. Stop the interim step of all growers have to go through the AGLC, Alberta Gaming and Liquor and Cannabis, AGLC. All growers have to send their stuff to them to be packaged and irradiated, and then it goes to the store and there to the consumer. Let's get rid of that middle step, you know? So we've discussed it. We've read the whole thing. I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's one of those steps that we need to take on this road. I said between 3 to 5 years before this market stabilizes and the dumb regulations go away, replaced by good ones. We're seeing that slowly fold out on this, our 11th month of legalization. And little known facts, friends, little known facts is here. We always do this. I talked about that, I talked about that, I talked about that. A shark is the only fish that can blink with both eyes. Interesting but big deal. Emus and kangaroos cannot walk backward and are on the Australian coat of arms for that very reason. And the jellyfish, my friends, is 95% water. I think humans are around 80. So, who cares? Who cares? I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to see you next time. And remember, this one is an important one. Share it. Talk about it. Talk to your dealer, your local store. Peace and cheers, friends. Love and harmony. Catch you on the other side.